Hi guys, this is Dr. Winterbottom. I am over here at the readings folder, which is right here, and I wanted to go into the narration chapter and show you a section that's going to help you on the quiz. So I'm going to launch the reading assignment. And I'm going over to, this is the student essay called Taking on a Disability. I'm going to take a look at the page called Developing the Essay with Emphasis on Narration because there are quite a few questions on the quiz that come from this part of the reading. So there are going to be a few questions that have to do with these rules for using dialogue. I think there might be about 3 questions on that. And then this section that's called Development through Pre-Writing, you'll want to take a look at this advice right here. And then after that, you'll want to take a look at this material here that is about the student named Lisa who wrote Taking on a Disability. And in the reading, they're going to walk us through her writing process. So the first thing they're sharing with us here is the fact that Lisa spent half an hour free writing before she wrote the first draft of her essay. And this is what she came up with. It says, our church was planning a building renovation to make the church more accessible to people with disabilities. Some people thought it was a waste of money and that the disabled could get along all right in the church the way it was. Not many disabled people come to our church anyway. Pastor Henry gave a sermon about disabilities. He suggested that we spend one Sunday pretending to be disabled ourselves. We got to choose our disability. Some people pretended to be blind or deaf or in need of crutches. I chose to use a wheelchair. I thought it might be fun to have someone push me around. It was a lot scarier and more disturbing than I expected. We borrowed wheelchairs and crutches from the local nursing home. I didn't like sitting down in the wheelchair. I didn't know how to work it right. It rolled when I didn't want it to. I felt clumsy trying to make it move. I even ran into a pew. I felt silly pretending to be disabled and also sort of disrespectful because for most people, sitting in a wheelchair isn't a choice. It also bothered me to think what it'd be like if I couldn't get up again. It turned out that nobody was going to push me around. I thought Paula would, but instead she put on a blindfold and pretended to be blind. She knocked over a cup of coffee before the morning was over. She told me later she felt really panicky when that happened. Sitting down so low in the wheelchair was weird. I couldn't see much of anything. People ignored me or talked to me like I was a little kid. I was glad when the morning was over. Making the wheels turn hurt my hands and arms. So then they tell us that as Lisa read over her free writing passage, she was able to decide what the central point of her story was going to be. It was a certain realization, and that to support that central point, she would need to concentrate on certain types of details, right? So that information is important there. And then she created a scratch outline for the first draft of her essay. So you'll want to take a look at this as well and notice how she organized her ideas. She grouped her ideas into 3 sections, right? And then after that, she wrote a first draft, and then she showed it to her roommate. Her roommate gave her some feedback, And then she made a list of comments about how she thought it could be improved. So this section as well, there are some questions on the quiz that will ask you to take a closer look at these suggestions for improvement. Okay? And then the other section that has several questions that's toward the end of the quiz is this checklist right here. It's called Narration Checklist, the 4 bases. There are 4 parts to it: about unity, about support, about coherence, and about sentence skills. So there are a few questions that will ask you about what some of the items are in the different sections of this checklist. Okay? All right. Thank you very much.